Hello and welcome to BunkaMania Wrestling here on YouTube, where we are talking all things real or unreal. What is reality anymore? We're talking WWE Unreal. And I am, of course, the Dekker Dane, joined by Harriett, aka Manga Girl. Harriett, how are you doing today?
Not too bad. It's cooling down a bit-ish, kind of.
Yes.
So.
Yes. We're still in summer. It's still in the summer. We are hours away from the biggest party of the summer, which is SummerSlam.
Whoop, whoop.
2 nights. I'm debating a certain character decision, which well, all intents and purposes, I'll put it out front, because technically it does actually nicely lead into one of the episodes we're going to talk about here about Unreal, and that's the fact that John Cena's just decided, yeah, you know what, I'm a babyface again. Had a nice big speech on SmackDown. He came out, had a promo with Cody, and he just said, thank you for beating me up. I now realize that I have to be the babyface, and I'm not trying to ruin wrestling. I'm just trying to make sure you don't forget me when I leave, which is adorable. And you go, ah. But then also you just go, well, the heel turn's been a bit of a complete mess. but he did put in the actual reference that, like, the 2 people that I did this with have now gone. So I'm all by myself. And I realized I shouldn't have listened to them in the first place. Those two people very clearly being Dwayne Johnson and Travis Scott, who we will talk about in our little discussion of Unreal. But yes, Unreal, 5 episodes on Netflix. It's there. We're going to pull back the curtain. We're going to blow your minds about what wrestling really is all about. And to be perfectly honest, there was very little that surprised me. Because a lot of this stuff I kind of already knew. There are certain bits that I think were really fascinating to watch, and I think there's some really good bits to actually see happen and actually see backstage. But all in all, it's very reminiscent of a WWE 24 documentary, and it's all. This is the thing. It's the fact is it covers the span between the Netflix debut all the way up to Mania this year, and the fact is, it's like at certain points you're kind of going, "Oh, this is what we're doing." It's like, yes, I know. This is the story that we are aware. We know that Jay won the Rumble. We know this is the heel turn. We know all that, and obviously it's going behind the scenes and showing us bits and pieces. But I feel to a degree that even though you learn some new bits about behind the scenes, you learn a little bit about the writers. You learn a lot about gorilla position, which is one of the coolest things, and we'll get onto that. You learn all these little things, but at the end of the day, it's kind of like, oh, you don't forget. This is a thing that happened. It's like, yes, I know.
We know.
We know. But then the counter argument to that is this is supposed to be for people who have not watched WWE, who are not familiar with the product, who are not versed in the realm of kayfabe, baby faces, heels, marks, all that sort of stuff. And I think the funny thing is that, well, the actual thing is I don't have any friends I don't think I have a non-wrestling person friend that I feel would actually have gone and watched this and then come to talk to me about it. I mean, the fact is, I know, obviously, we've watched it because we're wrestling fans. We know our friends who are, and we know, I believe Matty Boo is probably going to be watching it a little bit as well to get his sort of insight as well. But it's like, it's for people that are not aware of wrestling. And to be perfectly honest, I don't think it's something people who are not familiar with wrestling are going to go, wow, I really need to watch the product. And that's how if I was watching this and I just had no idea about wrestling, I would have gone, cool. I'm not spending 6 hours a week watching this.
Probably more as well.
Yeah. Well, for an AEW, it's about 10.
Oh, jeez.
Yes.
That's true.
But I've kind of given my initial thoughts about it. Harriet, what do you think about the series?
I mean, yeah, there was some parts of it I did find fascinating. I think same as you, gorilla position, what we'll talk about later. But yeah, there were a lot of things that's kind of new about that. And as you said, being a wrestling fan watching this, it's probably not as mind-blowing for us as it should be. And you actually hit the nail on the head. It did remind me of a WWE 24 documentary that they used to do back in the day. I completely agree in regards to, I don't know many people who would watch this who are non-wrestling fans and be like, come to me and like, so you watched this WWE then? What's it all about? And then I've watched this documentary and I'll be like, so are you going to watch it? No. because it's kind of. I did find some of it fascinating, though.
Mm.
It was kind of some of the behind the scenes stuff was very much, oh, so that's how it happens, and it kind of reminded me of. I'm going beyond the beyond here, but the Magician's Secrets, where they used to reveal how the magic was done.
The masked magician in
The
his
masked
weird,
magician.
when his weird, very dark lucha libre-esque mask going.
Oh,
That's the thing. That side tangent. I stumbled upon like a 24/7 stream of that on YouTube, and I kind of got captivated for like an hour before I went, oh wait, hang on, I've got other things to do. But it's just the way you've got Mitch Pileggi from the X-Files just kind of just going, this is the secret. You'll see the magician. He's put the person in there, but the person's actually left. And that's how it's done. I think they did do a spin-off episode. I think they did a spin-off one-off where they talked about wrestling secrets. I remember that one. And it's things like, oh yes, if the commentator waggles their pen, that means you've got to go to the finish. And it's like, well, that shit definitely doesn't happen in WWE. You don't see Michael Cole just going, oh my, they should go to the finish.
What does a chair break mean? Because that happened to Corey last Monday.
I'll just imagine Wade Barrett doing that. Oh, this is the greatest match I've ever seen. I think we're watching a classic. Just randomly gesticulating to them to tell, finish the match.
Oh my God, can you imagine?
That would make it so funny and so stupid at the same time. But then again, wrestling can be quite stupid at times. Yeah, I mean, it's like we've. And also, it kind of leads on to another thing where people are going, "Oh no, it's going to expose too much of the business. It's going to ruin wrestling for everyone." And it's like, not to be funny, but ever since I came back to watching wrestling in 2015, all people seem to talk about, especially on YouTube and stuff like that, is the elements of how a match gets made. YouTube, even the WWE Network, with their various different things, Untold, 24, all that sort of stuff. They're comfortable telling people, this is a scripted show. This is a story that we're telling. So for all the people that think WWE Unreal is going to shatter the illusion of wrestling, it's not, because that illusion got shattered years ago. The fact of the matter is, this show does show you little bits that you've not really seen in behind-the-scenes stuff before, which I think is really, really cool. And why don't we go through like an episode by episode basis? So, for example, episode 1 talks about the Netflix debut. So we go behind the scenes of all the planning around it in terms of who's going on the show. We look at, I think we have a little bit about Cody Rhodes kind of going, well, I've been the quarterback, I should really be on the show. And side tangent, that narrative just kind of gets written to the side of, oh yeah, he gets to sit in the audience and gets cheered by The Rock. Good. That was a weird start to an episode where Coney's celebrating Christmas with Brandy and his daughter
family.
Liberty, and basically he's going, well, Netflix is a big deal, and I really want to be a part of it. I really want to say, look, I'm part of the show, and obviously because I've been a big thing, and ultimately just they just go, oh yeah, Cody's just in the audience.
Yep.
Good.
And then get calls on later onto the show. So
yeah, pretty much. I mean, you also follow Rhea, so we get a little insight about Rhea. We get to know her a little bit more as a person, which is really, really cool. We also follow the light beginnings of like Punk versus Rollins for the Netflix premiere. But I think the main thing that I think a lot of people took away from it, I took away from it, and probably Harriet, you did as well, is the breakdown of gorilla position, which I found really, really fascinating, because we all know where Triple H sits. We know Bruce Pritchard sits there. We know numerous people sit there, but it's the element of the WWE producers that we never really get to see or really get to understand or learn about. And learning that the producers are in that position during their matches. They are technically semi-directing the match with the referee, with the talent, with the camera crews at the same time. It's like this really kind of really intense operation, which is really, really cool to see. And our main focal point for this episode is Chris Parks, aka Best from TNA, who is the match producer for CM Punk versus Seth Rollins, the main event of the Netflix Raw. And you see this you see how the match seems to go well. And people don't really know that, oh yeah, the match had timing issues or something like that. But you also get the side note from Bruce Pritchard, who in this episode is a bit of a dick. Kind of going, oh yeah, just because on Netflix doesn't mean we have unlimited runtime. We got timings to meet. And you just see Bruce Pritchard just constantly kind of lingering around Chris Parks going, we're running over, sort it out.
Yeah.
And you're seeing poor Bess kind of going, we're going to cut this, we're cutting this, we're cutting the Anaconda Vice, we're going to the finish. All good, it's all good. And you get this really kind of awkward conversation at the end where the show's done, everyone's happy, everyone's celebrating, but Parks goes up to Pritchard and kind of going, it's like, I'm sorry, Pritchard, I'm sorry we went over a little bit, but are we good? Are we good? Did you find them? Was the match okay? Was everything fine? And he kind of just went, oh yeah, it's like, yeah, everything's fine, but that match was overbooked and overwritten and too long. So it's kind of like saying, no, you're not really fine tonight, mate.
Yeah.
So it takes William Regal to kind of assure Chris Parks that he's fine. And it's that little bit of drama, or that little sort of element of real life behind the scenes that is really fascinating and unreal.
Yeah.
Because that sort of tension of you have to get this right, or you have to stick to scripts, you have to stick to the times. I found that whole area, that whole period, that whole segment, I thought was really, really good and unreal. The downside is you don't get many more of those elements across the show.
Yeah. It seems to be, it's just, that's the main focus. It seems to be like the heart of the whole everything. Because what I found fascinating as well, how every stadium they go to, they just build it from scratch. It's literally just like how they do it. And I just think, yeah, because the way I think of it is just like, you're just used to seeing stages being set up, and you have seen, like, especially with live streams that they've done with WWE, they've set up the stage and never behind the scenes. So all you see from nowadays, especially with the way WWE is, you see wrestlers going from the backstage through Gorilla and then onto the main stage. And that's the only time you've ever seen it properly now in the last, I'd say, couple of years or so, maybe more.
Ever since Triple H took over, it's been like that.
Yeah, pretty much. And you can always see, like, him in the corner, literally, as you said, making sure everything's okay. But yeah, the whole kind of timing with everything, with Triple H saying, turn to camera, so-and-so, get pan on this shot sort of thing. I love stuff like that, because it's kind of, at least you see now how they plan things in advance. It kind of lingers on with episode 4 as well, how that happens. But yeah, the whole thing with Bruce being a dick to Chris, I did not like. It was just like, and also this was their first show, so of course there was going to be teething problems. And I think there was even reports of saying, oh yeah, Raw's got enough time to do what they need to do with Netflix. But yeah, when I saw that, I was just like, but it was still a good match, no matter what anyone says. And yeah, I'm thankful that Regal was there at the end to kind of say, you know what, you did good, if Bruce didn't want to say anything. But yeah, that was like the one things I kind of, out of the whole series, which says a lot, because there was a lot more to cover. But that whole thing of, like I said, the heart and the soul of it. Obviously, they have the truck as well outside where they plan everything. But it's the whole, do this, plan this, blah 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 blah, and how organized it is, and kind of even in episodes to come where it's the wrestler hub as well, of making sure everything's okay before everything happens. So that was fascinating to me as well.
Yeah. So yeah, that's really the kind of the core element of episode 1. Episode 2 talks about the Royal Rumble. We go into the writers' room where they start talking about, who's going to win? Who should win the men's Rumble? And everyone immediately just goes Punk, and it's like, okay, how did we get to Jay? Obviously, the reason they give to Jay is because obviously he's massively popular with the fans. He's on a rise with the fans that can't really be ignored. So the reasons for picking Jay are logical, and we talked about it when we did the review of the Royal Rumble PLE. But what I probably would have liked to have seen in that moment is kind of go, they had the discussion of who should win, Punk, and then we kind of reached that resolution of, okay, Jay's going to be the one to win the Rumble, or someone in the writers' room talks about Jay potentially winning the Rumble.
Yeah.
Because it's like the writers' room scenes are quite interesting, but to a degree, they don't really give a full sort of context of things. You have these little moments, and you don't see them through to the end, or you just see a snippet regarding it, and it gets discarded. I mean, it just gets go. We just carry on with the episode.
Yeah.
The one bit I did find really funny was when they were talking about who should win the women's rumble, and
yes,
and the idea gets pitched of we're down to 2 people. It's entrant 28 and 29. They eliminate each other, so whoever's number 30 is going to win the rumble, and it's Chelsea Green.
I would have loved that because that's so her. It's so on brand for her, where she just turns up and goes, "Yes, I've won. I'm the queen."
Yeah, and it's like even wild pitches. I would have loved to have just watched wild pitches being made in the writers' room, and even if they didn't happen, it's just to get an essence of how they think through an angle, how they think through a storyline. I think if they were really going to pull the curtain back on the writers' room, we'd have a lot more of that. We only get real snippets across this entire series, and that's, I think, a real big shame, because I think I was expecting more, especially in the trailers. They were highlighting that was going to be more of the focus, but it wasn't. But episode 2 is essentially just a reminder about what happened at the Rumble. I mean, we follow Jay. We obviously understand Jay's rise to the top, obviously the choice of why Jay wins the Rumble, and it's the only thing they really focus about on that. Do they talk about Cody's? Do they focus on Cody's match in this one, the ladder match?
They do, yes, because they have him and Kevin talking afterwards. Like Kevin saying, "Are you okay? Because you had like a really nasty bump on your neck." But Cody was like, "No, it's fine. I literally bounced and stood up."
Yeah.
Well, they're both bloodied, by the way. They're both just sat there, just like in blood.
And again, that's some of the sort of stuff I like in this show. Is basically you see the wrestlers just kind of talking about the aftermath of the match, just checking in on each other. Or even better is when we go to, I think it's the Hilton episode, and we see everyone who's in the men's elimination chamber just talking about the match. They're just huddled around by ringside. John Cena, bless him, is in full regale already, ready to go. Maybe that's how John Cena does that day to day. But but they're all just sat there, and you got Punk going, "Well, if I'm gonna lose to John, wouldn't it be cool if Seth stomps me, and then John takes advantage of that because he's desperate?" And John's going, "Yeah, I love that," and Seth going, "Yeah, that's cool." All that sort of stuff. So you get a sense of them building a match. And again, that's stuff I would love to see more in the show. Is basically the wrestlers, yes, they're working with the producers, talking about the matches as well, just kind of about what they could do. There's a really good bit, and I think in episode 3 focuses on Chelsea Green, Bianca Belair, and Charlotte Flair. And there's a bit for Chelsea when she wins the US title at main event, where she's being asked to do a leg drop as a finisher from the top rope, and she's very against it, and you see that discussion, and obviously she uses the unpretty at the end for a match. But again, it's those little moments that I would have loved to have seen more of. More of. The only other things about episode 2, the Royal Rumble, the editing of the men's Rumble when they cover it is quite cool. Which is the weird. Which is the weird. It's like it's an over-the-top cam, which kind of does like crazy crash zooms into certain areas, and the match just kind of flows normal, so you don't see wrestlers suddenly come in, all that. It's just the match just blends into its.
Yeah, it's like a retrospect of like just focusing on that person, and then I noticed that, and I just thought this is. I actually put that in my notes. It was just like, this is really cool. I love this.
Yeah. The what was it? They cover the eye show speed stuff. It's the same as it was on the day of and behind the scenes. It's all the same of basically Speed getting the Rumble. Speed, you've been hit. Speed, you're gone. And the same footage of Logan Paul going, "What's happened to your leg?" "Oh, drink Prime."
So I was very confused by this. It's like, did he actually know he was going to be in the Rumble? I never really got that impression he knew he was going to be.
I think you would be. It would be very unwise to put an untrained, unaware wrestler or unaware talent or guest into a ring without them knowing that's about to happen.
Yeah.
Because if that goes horribly wrong, there's legal problems coming. So Bron Breakker and Otis completely destroyed him Because we forget he falls into Otis, and Otis then just yeets him over the desk.
I forgot about that.
If any of that went horribly wrong, and I Show Speed did not know he was in the Rumble, that's a problem legally. So I think he was aware, but clearly they show that it's unpredictable. It's like it said, but the fact of the matter is, we kind of all knew that was happening.
Yeah, it's kind of we had seen that. It's you're right. It is stuff we had seen before prior to this. So
because it's like you got Trips talking to Steph Squeak going, it's like, right, what's going to happen is Akira's going to start going in, and then he's going to come back out. So just talk to Speed for a bit, just do some BS, all that sort of stuff, and then we're just going to throw him into the Rumble. Good. All that sort of stuff.
I will say that the camera angle of him being speared, because we've seen it from multiple angles. This was a new angle. It's still painful to watch. I will say, like with some of the filming that they have done, it was kind of nice to see it from those angles of a lot of the filming they did of the matches, because usually with the cameras you see, they kind of divert, but it's good to see it that they just stuck to it, so to speak. So
but episode 2, the Rumble, is very fluffy. There's some bits you might not be aware of, but other than that, it's like, here's what happened at the Rumble. Great. Episode 3, as I talked about, focuses on women's wrestling. So we look at Chelsea Green, we look at Bianca Belair, we look at Charlotte Flair. So with Chelsea Green, we see her slightly annoyed that she's not part of Survivor Series in Canada, considering she's bought tickets for 15 members of her family and she's not on the card, all that sort of stuff. So you get it's quite good fun. Well, it's not really good fun, but it's very fascinating, kind of just even the interview with Chelsea Green, because you get a sense of how she kind of views what she wants to do in wrestling and all that sort of stuff. She even goes through her bad lucks of I broke my arm, had time off, got called up, broke my arm, got released, went away, came back, all that sort of stuff. And it's kind of like you get the sense she's been on a little bit of a journey. So the US title win is kind of like a combination of you've been through some shit, but you've made it.
It's your reward. Yeah.
And there's a great line from her going, it's like, even if I lose, I'm on the card. That means I'm getting paid. So
yeah. I think her words were, if I get paid to be an asshole, I will be paid to be that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Basically, I still get paid at the end of the day.
And you see her complete wardrobe of various different attires, which cost a ridiculous amount of money. Which is when she's going, it's like, oh yeah, these cost about 15 grand.
I did. I winced a little.
And you're wearing them once.
Compared to someone like Bianca Belair, who makes her own clothing, which I did not know. And so much respect to her. She's a cosplayer's dream. Because she does done everything hand stitched, and her way of like making the jacket I love, just like, oh, just pinned everything. I'm like, yes, now you know, now people who cosplay, that's what we do. We don't work pin or glue.
Getting Montez to come in and help out, saying, can you just cut this? And then you just hear her, you've kind of stabbed me with a pin. I think it was a pin or some scissors. I can't remember. He's like, you've lightly stabbed me, Montez. Oh dear. In that sort of way. But that was quite cool. I think they were going through her appearance in the Elimination Chamber. They even talked about the whole Jade and Naomi side of things. So they're talking about the storyline building and all that. And again, you see the whole sort of backstage planning and execution of Jade's return. I think I can't remember who's the producer of the match, but them going, oh yeah, she's gonna put Naomi through the chamber wall. She's now going to shut the chamber door, all that sort of stuff. And then you see Montez going, yeah, that's my girl. She's acting really well. Good.
And Triple H was like to Jay, just don't take it easy. Don't go fast. Just like proper, like put the aggression in. And she did.
Yep.
I will appreciate that they didn't actually, because we've already seen Bianca's and heard Bianca's reaction with the screaming. I'm kind of glad they didn't feature it this time. It's kind of, at least they just told the story of what was being told. And if you want to go back and listen to it, because it is all on YouTube and Netflix, the pod recordings and all that. So I was very appreciative of that, if that makes sense. And also edits of the Rumble, not Elimination Chamber, but Rumble as well, later on in the episode, the same focal point of certain wrestlers, which I appreciated, which was nice to see.
Yeah, and with Charlotte, we go through the whole sort of thing of obviously her leg injury, MCL or like Nita or something like that. And we obviously see her coming back in and trying to sort of get focused back into the mindset of, you've been away for about 14 months. How are things going to go? All that sort of stuff. And it's like, and even with, and we talked about it, I think we've talked about it as well. Well, I know for a fact, Harriet and Charlie have talked about it on their review of Evolution, which you can check out on the channel, by the way. I think the perception of Charlotte is improving in WWE quite a bit. I think it's because we've had the Players Tribunal article. There's been the whole thing with her and Alexa Bliss at the moment, running into SummerSlam as well. And it's also these little bits. It's all these little things that just remind people that I think people hate the character of Charlotte Flair more than
Charlotte
Flair herself. But unfortunately, it has come across that people just hate Charlotte Flair as a person in general, and that's a little bit unkind and a little bit unfair. And that does get touched upon in the WrestleMania episode as well, because we go to that dreaded promo between her and Tiffany at some in the episode. But no, it's a decent little episode, number 3. It sort of highlights a really strong women's roster. And there's also a really good line backstage. I think it's Triple H who just kind of goes, for every good male wrestler we have 5 women's wrestlers that are on that quality at the same time. And that's kind of like,
love that.
And that's a pretty powerful statement. And when you do look at WWE's women's roster, main roster, NXT, he's right. He's got a point.
I've been saying that for the longest time. I really have. So when he acknowledged that, I was just like, I was touched, because it was just like, because like I said, we talked about it on the review, but it was just, it's good to be a wrestling fan who like a female wrestling fan, and then realizing there are a lot of female wrestlers you can idolize a lot, and like for younger girls who want to become wrestlers later on in life, or just want to get action figures and stuff, get into wrestling, they can do, because they have that kind of idol or wrestler in mind who they want to follow. So I really love that line from him.
Yes. Episode 4 talks about the heel turn. It is all focused on the heel turn. They talk about the origins of the heel turn, the idea of pitching the heel turn. And to be honest, a lot of this stuff is stuff we've already been aware of in terms of the whole planning things. It's like, we know who knew, who didn't know, all that sort of stuff. And obviously for theatrical stylings, we have the whole sort of animated plan sheet of who should know, who should get called first, all that sort of stuff. So you got Triple H kind of talking, well, first we talked to Rock, and we kind of go, we're doing this, and he's going, I love it. The thing I was expected in the whole animated sequence is I expected when they brought up people and they were appearing on phones, they looked like they were getting ready to talk about it. But then they didn't.
It kind of reminded me of Metal Gear Solid for some reason.
It's like, well, first we talk to Rock, and Rock's happy with it, and then I go talk to Nick, and then we go and talk to Travis Scott, and then we go and talk to Cody, and then the last person we talk to is we talk to John himself, and John goes, I love it. And it's like, okay. Why not?
Yeah. It was just fascinating to see, because obviously, like you said, we know the story now. We know what happened, but it was just more like, well, how did they get to this? And the planning was interesting, I will say. I just imagine them having a WhatsApp chat group of like 2 minutes.
It's like them on their phone going, no one has to know this.
Someone says a gif of ha ha ha, no one will ever know.
It's like if anyone out of this group has told about the Cena heel turn, they're dead to us, and they'll never be heard from again.
Blocked.
All that sort of stuff. So I kind of like that. I also like the what if scenarios. It's like we have a multiverse of what ifs happen, and it's like, all right. I mean, you probably had one option and one option only, but let's see your imaginations run wild. It's like, oh yeah, Cody tells Rock to fuck off, and it's like, no, then the Rock just decides to make a match, and Cody loses the belt to Kevin Owens that night, which I kind of went, all right, that's interesting, but again, no one's pitched that in the blooming writers' room, and we have Rock's writer, I think it's Brian Gertzovich, Gus, which apologies
Yes.
if I butcher the name there, turn up going, I write for The Rock. And it's like, okay.
Yeah, I was literally like, okay, good.
It's like, I make sure that he is strong and he is the final boss. Okay. Are you gonna have any input on like the Soul storyline or the heel turn? And also like, no.
Yeah, he wasn't involved. He just turned up.
Brian. You just see Brian for that one moment of I write for The Rock, and he was never heard from again. in the show.
Yeah, we must specify the show.
Because there's even and this I think is the episode reported to be the Rock friendly episode as well.
Yes.
Basically, it's edited to make The Rock look fine or whatever. I mean, basically, he turns up going, "Well, the final boss is the greatest heel character ever made." It's like, okay, all right, Rock. It's like it's fun, but let's be cautious here. I think based on the senior heel turn, that's probably lost a bit of shine. That's just me. I don't know.
I mean, I will say the edit that they used of him talking was the same that they used in the WrestleMania documentary last year.
Yeah. So it's like they do reuse footage here.
Yeah.
And so the only new bits of footage of The Rock you see The Rock arriving for Elimination Chamber. He's being followed by his own PR team who are filming everything he's doing.
Yeah.
You have this one brief conversation between Trips and The Rock in the aisleway while the set's being set up, kind of going, okay, and they're still talking about elements of the story, which is really cool. And it's like, and you just hear Trips go, well, has John already kind of decided to join you, or is he going to just take advantage of the moment? And The Rock just goes, He doesn't really commit to one or two of the answers. He just kind of goes, yeah, to either one of them. And it's like, I think there was probably more of a conversation behind closed doors because they go kind of, oh, like, let's get everyone together and let's make sure everyone knows the plan. All that sort of stuff. But then ultimately you see the whole thing as it unfolds in edited highlight way. So basically going, okay. And the really cool thing was Trips kind of going to the trucks and like, we're going to keep going. Just follow our instructions and we'll guide you through the process. So basically it's the level of secrecy that they took to keep it from not leaking and not who didn't know and who did know and all that sort of stuff. Kind of cool as well, but it's just kind of, yeah, it's like I said, it's kind of cool to that degree. But then obviously it's like we know the heel turn from now. And yes, it gets intercut with sad John Cena fans, which I found wonderful. Who are cheering and then just going, no, John, why? Why just stop being Cody? And you get all the TikToks of the children going, no, mate, to Cody. That's like, that's when you kind of know they've done their job.
I still regret we did not record our reactions to that because they were just glorious.
It was like at 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah, sure.
3 and 4 a.m. and trying not to wake a household at the same time is difficult.
You say as you ran screaming out the room. I'm just like disbelief. I will say one thing I loved about this episode, which unfortunately now where we live in the age of media, social media, internet, everything gets out so quickly. It was the fact that they kept this secret because, there's no secrets in wrestling anymore. I mean, you have so many wrestling like people talking about it on various websites or streaming sites, and it was just like the storytelling of the fact we're just keeping it to this amount of people, we're telling no one else until literally the final moments of the match. And it was just like, I appreciate that was kept secret for so long because I miss the days of being genuinely shocked rather than being told this might happen and then you think, oh well, it had, and it's just like, okay, cool.
Well, it's the whole thing now about Seth going into SummerSlam. If you're using like a comparison for Seth going into SummerSlam, it's like, well, we had the injury at Saturday Night's Main Event a couple of weeks ago, and now the big question is he actually injured?
Well,
or is this? Because if it's a storyline purpose, it's like on one side, okay, that's a cool way to do it, but it kind of puts the whole thing with LA Knight at Saturday Night's Main Event pretty much in the shitter.
Yep, pretty much.
Pretty much.
It just kind of throws it out the window, really, because it's just like, and obviously the whole, sorry, diverting a little bit, but the whole kind of so many videos of him being injured. It's just like, well, he's definitely turning up.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. It's kind of the whole. Don't get me wrong, I love wrestling. I watch it for the storytelling mainly. But when you're told like a few days before SummerSlam, this could potentially happen, you're waiting for it to happen because you've been told. So like the whole heel turn when it happened, it was just like, oh my God, mind blowing, because that's still one of my mind blowing moments. I'd say in the last 5 to 10 years of wrestling for me. It's just like, because we didn't know. So that was the one thing I kind of left with this episode. Even John Cena said himself at the end, he was just like, I'm never going to tell, because I want people to enjoy the story as it is. He's very frank in his interviews, I will say, so which I appreciate.
They have at the start, every time a wrestler comes into the story, or they actually focus on the wrestler, they kind of go, well, my wrestler's name is this, I've also wrestled under these names, and my government name is this. And John Cena just goes, my wrestler name is John Cena, my real name is John Cena, I am John Cena, John Cena is my name. In that sort of way. And you just see John Cena's kind of popping up on the screen a couple of times. Oh, bless. But yeah, final episode is Wrestlemania. They go for they follow a couple, obviously a bit more of the wrestlers that they focused on before. So one of the big focal points is CM Punk and his Wrestlemania first main event, all that sort of stuff. We have the Cena Cody match and Travis Scott, which they seem to bring across like, oh, it was a great match. And it's like, are you sure? Are you sure? And I think you even sense a little bit kind of like, I don't know. It's like, I kind of sense with Cody's presentation episode, even Cody, I think, knew this was going to probably not be good.
I mean, by the end, he just walked off. It was just like,
and it's like, oh, well, I'll just have to chase it again. All that sort of stuff. We also focus on Charlotte and Tiffany's match. We have a little bit about the lines being crossed in terms of the promo in Chicago, despite the fact they don't really kind of highlight as well that it kind of stems from a previous promo that didn't go well either, which was that TV, which was like the split screen interview kind of thing. So yeah, you get some little, it's like it was very weird how you didn't really see like the full fallout of it. You just got Trips going, was that in the script?
Yeah.
Not the marriage line. Oh, well, Tiffany should go apologize. All right. And she did. That's the way it's kind of just jumps to the match.
Yeah. And at the end, it had a big hug, and everything was right. Big hug.
It's like, even though I think my tooth is missing, I'm happy we've done a match, and it's not like we were laying into each other in that match. Because the fact is, I think if they kind of focused a bit, because there's that element with Unreal as well, and with most reality TV stuff, some stuff might be staged or is staged, so forth. So it's like, apparently the whole Charlotte Flair getting a round of applause at the end of the Rumble was set up. That's a report I've read about. The Kevin Owens winning the match was again another kind of, well, that was never discussed, and that's something from Wrestling Observer, all that sort of stuff. So you have to take some things a little bit
with a pinch of salt.
With a pinch of salt. So maybe the whole side of things is like that. You have the focus on Jey Uso in his match, and quite rightly they talk about the kind of like, well, Jay's kind of not doing well in the build-up, and they talk about the things like the botched dive and being gassed for doing all his yeeting, all that sort of stuff. And Trips is going, well, he's got to realize that it's like this win is not guaranteed. He's got to work hard for it. We don't see him have a sit down with Jay and kind of go, well, this is the situation, all this sort of stuff. It's just basically like, well, he's got to buck up, and he did.
Yeah,
and he won. Yeah. That's the thing I like in this. I make it sound like it's that shit.
There are a lot of gaps missing. It's like scene missing here, so to speak, and it's kind of like you have to fill in the gaps yourself watching it.
It's like he's got to win, and he did. There's also in terms of the Punk match, it's like, again, we go back to the writers' room with him going, well, who should win the triple threat? Punk. Yeah. Huh.
Anyway,
But they also make a good kind of point about Roman's position in the match, because they kind of go, well, if Punk wins and he pins Seth, then what's the point of Roman being in this match at all, other than to have Heyman in his corner? And it's kind of like,
we were saying that anyway, to be fair.
which was a valid thing to be raised in the writers' room.
Yeah.
But obviously they pivot. They talk about the Seth Rollins victory, and obviously Heyman turn and all that sort of stuff. And again, it's like, getting to that point. I mean, Michael Hayes is, I think, the matchbook for this one, so he kind of talks it through. And Michael Hayes is quite fun to listen to Michael Hayes a little bit when he's kind of going, well, this is how we do it. It's like when they expect one thing, we got them. And that's when it's fucking awesome. Well, that's sort of stuff.
I will say, they swear a lot in this.
There's a lot of swearing.
There's a lot. I actually wrote here, wrestlers and crew WWE swear a lot.
Well, they need to outlet. Well, they need to lay out their frustrations now and then, maybe. All that sort of stuff. So again, it's like we have the whole picture of, well, maybe Seth should win. And again, I go back to my other thing of the Rumble storyline not really being completed in Unreal. It's the same here. We have the kind of initial discussions of, oh, Punk should win. And then we got the, well, maybe you should think about this because Roman's not really a role in this now. And they kind of speed up to, oh, we just decided Seth should win and Heyman should turn. And we don't really get input from, say, I guess Roman, Seth, and Paul about it as well, because I think we would have had a little bit more greater insight in that whole kind of narrative side of things. But it is a nice touching moment. It's like, say what you will about CM Punk and obviously his behind the scenes antics in AEW and stuff like that. It's like there is something quite touching about him literally he's riding the emotional moment of something he's worked or has just dreamed of for his entire life. So seeing him before he goes out, almost kind of getting really emotional.
He was crying.
Yeah. And then even Triple H is going, well, you're CM Punk. It's like, you've heard this, go out there and show them you CM Punk, all that sort of stuff. And then even the bit afterwards where Punk's he's lost the match, but he's just kind of like, I was like, it doesn't matter. I've made event in WrestleMania and no one can take it away. And I know people will go, oh, but it's night one. It's like, it's the closing match of a wrestling show and it's called WrestleMania. So I think it's still technically a main event in that way. I know people will be picnicky about it, but it's that sort of thing. And I think it was one of the things, it was the penultimate thing they concluded on, because obviously they went with Cody and Cena for that little bit as well.
I will say there was Triple H and the crew are very accommodating to the wrestlers when they finish their matches, making sure that they've done a good job. One in particular, and everyone knows I love Rhea, but it's kind of, I loved seeing her in this documentary, like being human, if that makes sense, because we're so used to her being like this natural superwoman who's big and muscular, but the fact that she is literally suffers with so much anxiety as much as a lot of people, and especially at the end, I think the beginning, because she talked about it like WrestleMania 40 last year. I mean, it is, well, she had a panic attack before the match. She was a lot calmer for the triple threat this time, and then at the end, like, she was crying because she was just like, did I do okay? Was I good? And Triple H reassured her, no, you did amazing, and you are amazing, so to speak. So it's kind of, I loved seeing that, because it was just also, even with other wrestlers as well, because they're coming back thinking, did I do okay? And it's just like, no, you did a brilliant job. And I love that, because these wrestlers are just, they're people like us, like you said, with the whole government names. It's like when you realize what Rhea's real name is, it's like, oh my God, it's suddenly think, they're just like everyday people doing a job, but just entertaining people. So that episode was kind of like very emotional in many ways, in a lot of ways, kind of realizing a full circle moment of how everything comes to be and how it does mean a lot to a lot of people who take part in it and who watch it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And even as the first 5 episodes close, I think there's a second set of 5 episodes on the way. I think there's a teaser for it at the end of like the last episode, which I didn't see, but I was aware that they are recording more episodes, or they've already recorded more episodes, possibly in the run up to SummerSlam or up to Money in the Bank. But I know the cameras have kept rolling since WrestleMania. So maybe it's more of the same when the next 5 episodes or whatever number of episodes happen drop, or maybe they go a different route. Who knows? Yeah. But as Triple H says at the end, he gets into his car. He's been driven away from the Wrestlemania. He's got a big wad of paper in his hand. Well, the job just keeps going, and this is the script for Raw. It's never ending. Because the wrestling is never ending. It will never be decided who will win the wrestling, but your best bet is here, or with WWE, or just watching wrestling in general. Anyway, and that's virtually Unreal in a nutshell, I suppose. I think final thoughts on Unreal. I enjoyed my time with it. I did enjoy watching the content. I did enjoy watching the episodes, but I feel like there are times where it was stuff that I was already well aware of what was going on, or what I knew what happened during the whole kind of event, or what happened backstage, all that sort of stuff. And the little moments that it had of like cool, interesting stuff, or things you just didn't see before, I think if it had more of those sort of elements, then I would have probably said it was a bit more of success. I think the wrestling fan might get more out of it than a non-wrestling fan. Maybe that's just me. But I mean, if you like the WWE documentaries, it's all right. It's fine. I think you do have to take things with a pinch of salt a little bit sometimes, just in how the things are kind of presented, because again, a good case in point, we didn't actually talk about it, but the end of the Cody Cena match at Mania, we've got Travis Scott getting a hug, and Travis Scott kind of going, "Oh yeah, this is amazing. I can't wait to do more of this." And that was the last anyone saw of Travis Scott in WWE. which we must clarify. And also, especially with the SmackDown promo that's just happened, he's just kind of gone, well, the two people I did this with are gone. So it's like, okay, well, that's WWE definitely saying Trevor Scott is definitely not coming back to WWE for a while. So,
or The Rock.
Or The Rock. But maybe it's The Rock. He'll turn up when he needs to, or he wants to. Either way. So yeah, I think overall, if you're a wrestling fan, do check it out. And I think your mileage with it is going to vary of what you want from it, really. I think if you want the real nuts and bolts and you really want to see backstage stuff, not happening. If you want a general all-around like narrative of what happened during those months, like 24, you'll be good. You'll be fine. Harriet, your final thoughts.
I had a couple more things to say, so I'll kind of finish on that. I will say the editing and the filming was very good. I will say, like, some of the stuff that they showed. One thing I really loved is how cinematic they made some of the main event matches. It was kind of the music and the build-up, like, especially with the triple threat between Roman, CM Punk, and Seth was just really good. Yep, as you said, I think there were a few hit and miss points in this. I would have liked to see more in regards to writing, because that's more the delve, that's the soul. So you have the heart of the gorilla position, but you have the soul of how this comes to be. So I kind of would like to have seen more of that, and like you said, the breakdown of it. I did. In regards to the wrestlers, it was good that you were able to feature certain wrestlers. Hopefully in the future they'll feature different ones, not just have Cody in every single episode, or nearly every single episode.
I kind of made a running joke on this when we were talking about this in our sort of WhatsApp group. It's basically, I felt there were times where you would follow a wrestler and the wrestler's going, "Oh, I don't know what to do. I'm unsure how this is going to go." And lo and behold, into the frame shuffles Cody Rhodes, going, "Hello, it's me, Cody Rhodes. What's going on? I'm doing this. I'm sure it'll work out." And it did.
The end.
I feel like this is like the running theme of Unreal. Things happened, and they did. The end's Unreal. Sorry, I distracted you from your final thoughts on it, Harriet.
No, it's fine. It's just more of a I mean, personally, I did enjoy it. So, like I said, some bits I found fascinating. There were other bits as kind of, I knew that as a fan, but heck, it's one of those things they have to include it in the story because wrestling. I am looking forward to watching the next 5 episodes as and when they're produced. And maybe it might still be the same thing. Maybe they might take back from other people what's been told. You never know. They might actually watch this and be like, well, we'll probably include this because they've said so, sort of thing. But I doubt it. But you never know. But in all, I did enjoy it. I thought it was fascinating, and I wasn't really bored throughout. And I think if you are a wrestling fan, definitely check it out because there might be stuff in there that you didn't know.
Yeah.
And it would, like for us, we didn't know about gorilla position,
Mhm.
and that's a good breakdown of it. Yeah, I mean, if you're a wrestling fan, if enjoy it. If you're not a wrestling fan, I'd say give it a go and just see what it's like. Maybe you might want to watch wrestling afterwards. You might not, but at least you know how it's done.
And that's all we've got time for on this episode of BunkaMania Wrestling. Thank you so much for watching. If you've watched WWE Unreal, do let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We would love to hear your thoughts. And don't forget, you can catch a wave of wrestling content here on BunkaMania Wrestling. We cover WWE PLEs, we cover AEW pay-per-views, and a lot more as well. So if you'd like to be notified when we go live on YouTube or when a new video comes out, hit the subscribe button. It's totally free to do so. And yes, if you do that, you'll find out when we go live next. And that was our review of WWE Unreal. From me, the Dekker Dane, from Harriett, aka Manga Girl, thank you so much. And that was us doing a review. And they did.